You've seen it before. A woman meets a man. He's good-looking, charming, even successful. But weeks later, she doesn't remember his name. Then there's another man, maybe less polished, maybe not the loudest in the room. But she thinks about him for months. She replays conversations, wonders what he's doing. Because true stoicism, real inner power, isn't about killing your emotions. It's about mastering them so they don't master you. And that changes everything. Picture this. You're with a woman. She says something sharp. Maybe she pulls away, maybe she tests your patience. The average guy reacts, he gets defensive, he explains. He chases, all in a desperate attempt to fix the discomfort. But the Stoic man, he pauses, he breathes, he sees the storm and stays still. That calm, that stillness, is what drives her wild. Because now she's not sure what you're thinking. She doesn't know if she's winning. And that not knowing pulls her deeper. Here's the hard truth. Women don't fall for men who try to manage their emotions. They fall for men who regulate their own. Epictetus once said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgment of them." Most men get triggered because they misinterpret every silence, every cold glance, every test. They let their emotions run wild, then wonder why she loses interest. But the Stoic sees clearly. He understands that emotions are just signals, not commands. They arise, but they don't rule. He observes, but doesn't obey. That mindset alone changes how she sees you. Because suddenly, you're not reacting like every other man. You're not shaken by her moods. You're not chasing her highs and lows. You're not begging to be liked. You're centered. And in a world full of men looking to impress her, a man who looks inward becomes unforgettable. She feels it, the restraint, the control, the internal discipline. And even if she can't explain it, she starts to crave it. Because women live in emotion. What they seek, desperately, is a man who doesn't drown in it. But here's the secret: most never grasp your emotions aren't the problem. Your need to be understood, to be validated, to talk it out. Every time, that is the problem. A man who controls his emotions controls his fate. And the moment you stop needing her to validate your feelings, she starts to feel something deeper: respect, attraction, maybe even obsession. In the next part, you'll see exactly why this emotional control isn't just attractive, it's essential. Because when her world becomes chaos, she's not looking for another storm, she's looking for the mountain. Imagine this: you're out with her. Things were light a moment ago, but suddenly she shifts. Her tone sharpens, her eyes narrow. She says something that cuts deeper than it should. Most men tense up, their voice rises, they feel cornered, so they either defend, apologize, or retreat. Why? Because they've never learned to hold their ground. Because they don't understand this simple truth. Her emotions are not an attack, they're a test, a storm, and you are supposed to be the mountain. Can't seem to let go. Why? What makes one man forgettable and the other unforgettable? It's not his face, not his job, not even how much he flattered her. It's how still he was, how centered, how emotionally unfazed he remained while she tried to pull him off balance. If she throws wind, you don't sway. If she pours rain, you don't run for cover. You stand, you absorb, you remain. That, more than anything, is what makes her feel safe. Because when a woman unleashes her chaos, she's not looking for someone to solve it. She's watching, waiting to see who stays solid. That's the man she'll respect. That's the man she'll trust. That's the man she'll surrender to. Most men misunderstand female emotion. They see her mood swings as irrational, her outbursts as manipulation. But here's the truth: women are emotional creatures by design, not flaw. Her storm isn't always about you, but how you respond to it defines everything. The Stoic understands this. He doesn't match her chaos. He doesn't shrink. He doesn't lash out. He breathes. He listens. He lets the winds scream past him while remaining rooted in his own center. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water." That's what she's subconsciously searching for. A man who doesn't fold. A man who doesn't become her. And here's the paradox: the moment she realizes she can't shake you is the moment she softens. Her voice lowers. her walls collapse. Because when a woman meets a man stronger than her emotions, her body, her heart, her desire all surrender. She doesn't need more comfort. She needs contrast. Not another storm, but something solid to crash into. So next time she pulls away, don't chase. Next time she snaps, don't react. Let her feel the full weight of your silence. Let her realize that no matter what she throws, she can't move you. Because once she knows that she won't want to move away, every man wants to be desired. But few understand what truly fuels a woman's obsession. It's not your looks. It's not your wealth. It's not even how nice you are to her. It's mystery. And it's discipline. Combine those two, and she won't just want you. She won't be able to stop thinking about you. The average man gives himself away too easily. He over-explains, over-texts. He's emotionally available 24/7, thinking that being open will make her feel close. But it does the opposite. It makes her comfortable. And comfort unchecked kills desire. Women are wired for curiosity. Their minds run wild in the silence. So when a man says too much, replies too fast, exposes too quickly, he closes the loop. There's nothing left to figure out, nothing left to chase, nothing left to feel. But when a man is disciplined, when he doesn't reply instantly, doesn't explain every action, doesn't broadcast his feelings, she starts to wonder. Wonder turns to curiosity. Curiosity turns to emotional investment. And that's where obsession is born. You don't need to be mysterious by acting strange. There's a reason ancient Stoic wisdom is still quoted today. It's not because it sounds smart. It's because it works. It describes something timeless. A man who cannot be shaken is a man who cannot be ignored. You see, women aren't obsessed with perfection. They're obsessed with presence. You create mystery by being unavailable intentionally. When you respond on your terms. When your schedule doesn't change just because she called. When you reveal things about yourself piece by piece, not in a rush to impress, but in a rhythm that keeps her intrigued. Think about it, the man she can't fully read is the one she keeps trying to decode. And the more she thinks about you when you're not around, the deeper her desire becomes. But mystery alone isn't enough. If you're mysterious but erratic, she'll see you as flaky, untrustworthy. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline means she sees consistency in your behavior, even if she doesn't know what's going on inside. You're not hot and cold. You're not over-invested one day and distant the next. You're present when you choose to be. And that choice makes all the difference. The Stoic man doesn't disappear to manipulate. He disappears to focus, to train, to build, to live a life that doesn't orbit around her. And ironically, that's the very thing that pulls her into your orbit. When she realizes that your time is valuable, that your energy is reserved, not scattered, she starts chasing something she can't name, something deeper, something addictive. So if you want to be unforgettable, don't give her everything. Give her enough to feel, but not enough to figure out. Let the silence speak for you. Because in that silence, she'll start filling in the blanks with fantasies. And those fantasies will haunt her far more than anything you could say. There's a moment every man faces. The moment when she pulls away, tests your worth, withdraws her attention just enough to see how you'll react. Most men crumble. They chase. They over-explain. They beg, sometimes with words, sometimes with gestures. And in that moment, they lose the game entirely. Not because she stopped loving them, but because they proved they couldn't love themselves without her. The Stoic man, he does something else. He walks away, not to punish, not to manipulate, but to protect his peace, to remind the world and himself that his self-respect is not negotiable. Here's the truth, no one tells you the man most willing to walk away is the one she'll chase the hardest. Why? Because he's rare, because he values himself more than he values temporary comfort. Because when a woman realizes she can't push you off your path, she starts questioning her own. You see, walking away isn't about turning your back. It's about turning inward. Not the kind of presence that begs to be seen, but the kind that makes them feel like they've just stepped into something rare, something steady, something she can't quite read, and that unreadable quality is what burrows into her mind long after the moment passes. Most men chase the moment. When you detach from her chaos, not with anger, but with calm indifference, you signal something she doesn't expect. You're not my source. You're not my center. You're just a part of my experience, and I can continue without you. That scares her, not because she wants to control you, but because she thought she could. Every woman wants to feel chosen, but no woman wants to feel needed in a way that reeks of desperation. The moment she realizes you can walk away and still thrive is the moment she questions every man who couldn't. The Stoic man doesn't threaten, he just disappears. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, gracefully, because silence is louder than pleading, because leaving without explanation is more haunting than any goodbye. When you walk away, you become the question she can't answer. Why didn't he fight for me? Was I not enough? What did he see in himself that made him let go so easily? Those questions keep her up at night. They replay every moment. And if you did it with composure, with zero bitterness, then you don't become a memory, you become a mirror. A reflection of everything she couldn't control. But here's the twist. You don't walk away to make her miss you. You walk because something deeper in you refuses to stay where you're not honored. And that kind of man, that level of integrity is intoxicating. Most men stay when they should go. They tolerate disrespect. They accept breadcrumbs. They hope things will go back to how they were. But the Stoic man, he doesn't look back, because what's behind him never defined him. And once you walk like that, with silence, with certainty, with self-trust, she won't just want you back. She'll question if she ever deserved you in the first place. Think back to every time you tried to impress a woman. You dressed sharper, spoke smoother, hid the parts of you that felt too much or too real. And still, somehow, it didn't work. Because deep down, she didn't feel it. She didn't feel you. She felt performance, effort. A man chasing approval, not living truth. That's the trap most men never escape. They think attraction is earned through pleasing, through adjusting, through being the guy she wants. But here's the uncomfortable truth: the more you shape yourself to fit her desires, the less she desires you. Why? Because you're no longer a man, you're a mirror. And mirrors don't lead, they reflect. The Stoic doesn't reflect. He radiates. He walks into a room not wondering, will they like me? But deciding, will I choose to engage? His confidence isn't loud. They want to impress, to entertain, to be liked. But the Stoic man, he lets the moment come to him. He observes. He doesn't rush to fill silences or chase reactions. It's not built on compliments or phone numbers or her texting back. It's built on one thing: alignment. He knows who he is, what he values, and where he's going. And because of that, he never bends to be chosen. He chooses. Epictetus once wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's power. That's freedom. Most men live in emotional debt, always owing someone a version of themselves they don't even recognize. But you don't owe her a better version. You owe yourself the real one. When you stop trying to be impressive and start being intentional, everything shifts. She feels it in your silence, in the way you listen without needing to speak, in the way you move without asking permission, in the way you stay calm even when she tries to pull you off center. And that, more than anything, makes her lean in, because now she's not being impressed. She's being challenged. She's not the prize anymore. You are. And not because you said it, but because you live it. You don't chase her. You chase mastery. You chase purpose. You chase alignment between who you are and who you're becoming. That is the kind of man she dreams of and fears losing. The man who doesn't flinch to gain her approval because he already lives with his own. Why do most men feel lost when a woman pulls away? Because they built their identity around being accepted, around being seen, affirmed, wanted. But the truth is, every time you wait for her response to feel okay, you've already lost yourself. Every time you check your phone hoping for her message, your value slips a little further from your own hands. And here's the thing: women can feel it. They know when a man lives for attention instead of intention. That's why the men they obsess over aren't the ones who text the most, say the most, or try the hardest. It's the ones who seem focused, unbothered, absorbed in something greater than the chase. These men don't need validation. They're led by vision, and vision is magnetic. You see, most men are emotionally reactive. They wake up wondering how she feels, what she'll say, how she'll respond. But the Stoic man wakes up asking only one question: what am I building today? That focus, quiet, unwavering, is what makes him stand out. He's not playing games, he's playing for legacy. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And when you embody that, she feels it before you speak, in your eyes. And because of that, he becomes the rarest type of man in a woman's world. One she cannot control, one she cannot fully understand, and therefore one she cannot stop thinking about. This isn't about playing cold, it's about anchoring yourself so deeply that no storm, hers or the world's, can move you. In your routine, in your refusal to explain yourself to people who don't deserve the explanation, you stop posting for reactions. You stop texting just to get noticed. You stop needing her approval to feel alive. You become rooted in your own path. And ironically, that's when she starts chasing, because nothing is more attractive to a woman than a man who doesn't need her, but who still chooses to include her. A man who moves forward no matter what, who doesn't pause his progress for feelings, who leads, not because it impresses her, but because he has somewhere to go. So replace the question, "Does she like me?" with "Does this serve my purpose?" Replace the habit of checking for replies with checking your discipline. Replace your hunger for her validation with a hunger for mastery. Because when a man walks in purpose, he becomes a storm she wants to get caught in, not a follower hoping to be noticed. And in that shift, you stop being the option. You become the standard. Let's bring it full circle. She won't be hooked because you were the nicest guy she met. She won't stay because you answered every text, showed up every time, or said all the right things. No. She'll stay because you made her feel something she couldn't name. A calm she couldn't shake, a presence she couldn't ignore, and a mystery she couldn't solve. You were the first man who didn't flinch, who didn't chase, who didn't fold under her storms. You stood, you watched, you chose silence over reaction, stillness over chaos, purpose over persuasion, and in doing so, you became unforgettable. Because when you stopped trying to impress her, she became the one who needed to impress you. When you no longer waited for her message, she waited for yours. When you chose your mission over her mood, she started chasing your energy without knowing why. That's the power of Stoic philosophy. It's not just words, it's not ancient poetry. It's a code, a way of living. A man who embodies that code doesn't compete, he doesn't prove, he doesn't plead, he simply is. And in that being, disciplined, self-led, emotionally anchored, he becomes the most dangerous man in any room. Not because he threatens, but because he doesn't need. He doesn't need her to feel whole. He doesn't need the world to clap for his choices. He already decided who he is. And now, it's her turn to decide whether she can meet that standard. Because here's the brutal truth. Women don't leave men who make them feel safe, thrilled, and challenged all at once. They can't, not truly. That's what draws her in. That's what makes her obsess. And if you think this is just philosophy, just wait. Because in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how this plays out in real life. And the men who master their mind, who live by vision, not emotion, are the men women write about in journals, the men they compare others to, the ones they regret losing, even when they act like they don't. So if you've ever wondered how to be the man she never forgets, stop looking outward. Start looking inward. Become the gravity, the stillness, the storm she can't resist. And if you're ready to live that life, really live it, then make this your creed. I don't chase, I don't beg, I move with purpose. I lead with clarity, I master my mind, everything else falls in line. Now type it, out loud or in silence. I receive it, not for her, for you. I'll break down how one shift in your thinking can make her chase you harder than anyone else. But first, you need to understand one truth. She doesn't want to lead the emotional dance. She wants to feel your gravity. And once you become that silent force she orbits, she'll never truly drift away. So what does it actually mean to be unshakable? It's easy to assume it's about being cold, being distant, maybe even heartless. But that's where most men get it wrong.